Hi and welcome to my channel. I just came back from a really spontaneous trip to New Orleans. It had literally everything, starting from ghosts through mystery, amazing food, nature, jazz, and even an unplanned voodoo tattoo. So I really wanted to share with you some of my recommendations and perhaps some tricks where to save money here and there in case you are planning your own trip to NOLA. And I made a mini vlog that I really wanted to share with you, so I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Let's go. Dude, where are we off to? New Orleans!
Flights from Minneapolis to New Orleans were super affordable. I paid around $150 round trip, but you can sometimes find deals that go for under $50 one way, so it's really cheap. Accommodation-wise, I stayed in a hotel this time since I was traveling with a friend, and I think it was a quite nice change because I usually travel solo and I don't really prioritize fancy stays. So we each paid around $165 for 2 nights, but if you're on a tighter budget, there are hostels in the first quarter that go for like $20 to $30 per night in shared dorms. Now, food in New Orleans, one word, delicious. As soon as we arrived, we stopped by this famous Café du Monde and we tried café au lait and beignets, which was, I still don't know if I pronounced it right, but it was a warm donut with a mountain of powdered sugar on top of it. Our Uber driver recommended we try brunch at Vessel, a former church transformed into a restaurant. She mentioned that the place is rumored to be haunted by several ghosts and even appeared in one of the episodes of the Dead Files. We ended up watching the episode after our trip, and luckily, the food was much better than the show itself.
She hates me with a passion. She's right there.
Now, important question when to go. We went at the end of May and it was already quite hot and super humid, and you can literally see the struggle in my hair. And locals say that the best time to visit is probably spring and autumn, and it's recommended to avoid June to August if you don't want to melt or faint, like many tourists do actually. Now moving on to why I fell in love with New Orleans. First of all, it's definitely the spooky and mystical vibe. There is something haunting and kind of magical about it. The cemeteries, for example, are famous and even featured in movies like Interview with the Vampire. And one cool fact, in New Orleans, the tombs are reused. So after 1 year and 1 day, the heat kind of naturally cremates the body, making room for someone else. Then there is voodoo culture, which is deeply spiritual and not satanic like the movies suggest. And at the Voodoo Museum, I learned, for example, that voodoo dolls aren't evil. They are used for healing, for protection, for guidance, and not revenge. The visit to the museum gave me the perfect inspiration for a tattoo that I have been searching for. I decided to get a small version of Veve, a sacred symbol of Tijandanto, a spirit known for courage and the strength to overcome fears. And that's something that I've been manifesting for a really long time, so it really resonated with me. I get tattoos when I travel to destinations that hold special place in my heart, and New Orleans was definitely one of them. Second thing I really love about New Orleans is the colorful and creative energy. So New Orleans is really vibrant, it's warm and it's very expressive, and I love the people and this laid-back energy and the way folks express themselves through like this bold and colorful fashion, which is kind of often inspired by African and Creole traditions. So at the French market I actually picked up a few things, black and white set, skirts that can be also used as dresses, and all of it for less than what a tiny bandana cost in the fancy art market downtown, where the day earlier I paid like $50 for a really overpriced poster. But you know, you live and you learn. I always pay a lot of attention to the architecture of the cities, and I think that in New Orleans it really stands out. The colorful shotgun houses, the fairy lights, the French-Spanish influences on the design of the buildings. I think that wandering through the streets felt really, really magical to me. New Orleans is of course famous for its music scene, especially on Bourbon and Frenchman Street. And Bourbon Street It's for party people and a bit of a younger crowd that really like their booze, while the Frenchman Street is more for chill cocktail sipping. And in both areas, you can listen to live jazz and funk music, sing karaoke, and dance in the neon lights on the streets. So I really felt like I stepped into Marica, even though it was just May. So these two neighborhoods are definitely a must when you're visiting the city. On our second day, we did a swamp tour that I was extremely excited about. And yes, I recorded vlogs to include here. Today we are visiting a swamp. And we're hoping to see some cool alligators and also enjoy the very unique nature around us and hopefully stay a bit more in the shadow. It's quite hot today, quite sunny as well, but it was just raining. It was like a pretty big thunderstorm on the way here. And it took us almost 1 hour to drive here from the center of New Orleans. So I think it's going to be like a half a day trip in total, but super excited. All right, we're done with the tour. It took about 2 hours. My butt is sweaty. My shoulders are burned. I brought my shirt with me, but it was amazing. The guide was awesome. He told us so much about the species of fauna and flora. So we saw tons of alligators. We saw raccoons. We saw different birds. We saw even turtles. And it was a really fun trip. It was quite warm and it was like raining and it was sunny again and raining and sunny again. That's why I had this on most of the time. But I paid for the whole tour like $100 and I think it was really worth it. So. The only downside, it's definitely the mosquitoes. So bring back spray ferns. I forgot mine and I got absolutely eaten alive every night. So don't make mistakes like I did. If I had an extra half a day, I would have loved to visit a plantation to learn more about the area's complex history of slavery. But they are about 2 hours away and the full trip takes around 6 hours, so it is quite a time commitment. But in general, what I love most about NOLA is how walkable it is, especially compared to LA, for example. Everything is either within the walking distance or just a short Uber ride away, so you don't waste time getting around. So I spent in total 2.5 days in New Orleans, and honestly that was just enough to see kind of like the main highlights without feeling rushed. Have you ever been to New Orleans? Are you planning to go? Let me know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Thank you!